Are we back? We're back and we're proud. Guys, let's try this one more time. I know sometimes this is live television, and live television doesn't always go perfectly smoothly. I remember when Michael Jackson had an interview with Oprah Winfrey. And that was in the 90s. I think that was 92 or 93. Correct me in the comments if I'm wrong, because I know one of you is going to correct me. And, you know, it was a live broadcast. And they're sitting in the living room, Michael Jackson's with Oprah Winfrey. And in the middle of the conversation, one of the lights go off. And then there's a beeping sound. There's a consistent beeping sound. And I remember Oprah saying, relax, it's okay. This is live TV. It happens. So if that can happen on Oprah Winfrey's show, what is SML TV? We are but a speck in the vast expanse of space. Yeah, so welcome, guys. Please hop on here if you can. I know it's Tuesday morning. Many of you are in your offices, as you should be. And but you know, we're living in a social media, always on, always connected society. Sometimes I look back at the way we used to live. I remember there was a time when the rotary phones were first introduced. Because, you know, remember it was the rotary phones first? A rotary phone is a phone with that little ring thing. You know, you'd have to dial like that. And I remember the first time we received our first rotary phone, whenever the phone would ring, it was like harps from heaven. You know, everybody in the house would think, well, wow, a phone call. I wonder who's calling. And then we were trained, my parents trained us to when you answer the phone, you say, mwewa residence, may I help you, please? And then, you know, you'd either call your dad or your mom. Because, you know, in those days, very few friends would call you on your phone. Of course, we did have friends, but it didn't always happen. And my point in saying that is that in those days, we were not always on, always connected. There was a disconnect. Hey, Bo, I see you. Thank you, Bo. Can see you and hear you. Thank you. I'm always grateful when I see Bo on here. And when she tells me that we're fine, then we're fine. And of course, we transitioned into the internet age where we are always on, always connected. Here's the thing, guys. When someone, personally, I don't like receiving phone calls. I don't like it when people phone. I would prefer that you send a text. We're all different. There's some people that prefer an actual phone and you start a phone call and then you start speaking, and that's fine. I prefer sending messages because messages are quick, they're convenient, you're not disturbing anyone in case they're doing something. Oh no, not in Zambia. In Zambia, when someone phones you and you cut the phone, guess what they're going to do? They're going to call you again. I put the phone. I wonder why. Let's call him again. You know, hello. Oh, I put the phone. Let's call him one more time. Can't you take a hint? If I cut the phone, especially in this creator universe that we live in, especially if you're calling me and I cut the phone, chances are I'm live. And if I'm live, could you give me a moment? Could you give me a moment to do my thing so that you can do your thing? Okay? Don't call me 58,000 times. And then when I finally answer, my mother does that. You know who does that? My mother. My mother will call you 35,000 times. And then when you finally answer the phone, the very first thing she says to you is, get to my phone, I'm like, Mother, I'm creating. You know, my mother doesn't understand creating. She just, anyway. Let's talk about it. There are a couple of things I want to share with you. You know, there's certain things that you cannot say before someone is put to rest. And of course, then you can say them because then the grieving process has moved to another level. you know, and a couple of things I just want to share with you concerning Dandy Crazy's funeral yesterday. I know there's been a report that's been sent out that celeb, for those of you that may not know who celeb is, he's a juvenile entertainer. He's a musician. I'm not even sure. Do you know what type of music he sings? This is me pretending someone's in here for your benefit. There's no one in here. SML TV is a one-man show. Okay? So anytime on any of my videos, when you see me turn and act like I'm speaking to someone, there's no one there. No one. Do you know what type of music celeb sings? I have no idea. I've never heard this. Anyway, he's the guy that he does some type of music. I don't even know what type of music he does. But let me tell you the inspiration behind my decision not to attend Dandy Crazy's funeral. Now, I must tell you that, full disclosure, many people phoned me. Many different people from the Bus Drivers Association, the guys from Kulima Tower, several guys from Intercity. They called me. They said, "Mwewa, and let's just go to the funeral. Don't pay attention to these threats on social media. You know, they're not going to do anything." The guys from Kulima Tower, who are dear friends of mine, I know all of them. The boss there, he phones me and says, "Mwewa, twala pitapasimoson, twala esa mukupoka, turi mu convoy na bus. Bari abatoki bari aba guys bari kusta threatened. The part bari chita. Fopo turi, twala fyo bonse. Twala fyo in a convoy." First of all, my wife says to me, she says, "Honey, I don't care who calls you. If I see that you've gone to that stadium, there will be hell to pay." She said, "I don't care if thunder and lightning comes down and speaks to you in an audible voice and says to you, 'Go to the stadium.'" She said to me, "Don't go to that place because those rascals are going to descend on you." Now, the reason my wife knows this is because I've told her these stories. Whenever celeb first arrived at the funeral house and I saw the video, remember the video where celeb, I saw muchinto wing, you know, the first time I saw that, I recognized that sound. It's the sound of disorder, the sound of cadarism, the sound of bedlam. It's the sound of the inevitable occurrence of pandemonium. The sound. And because I've worked in City Market, Chivolia area, McKinney, Simoson there, I recognize that sound. And the moment I recognize it, everything in me, all of my street instincts, because, you know, contrary to what some of you may believe, I do have street cred. Could you tell me in the comments, could somebody tell me what street cred is? And it's a thing. I mean, there is a thing called street cred. I happen to have it. I'm not boasting, I'm just telling you what it is. Okay, street cred is, I'm not somebody that sits in the office all day. I have a life on the street that is fully in touch with the ecosystem of the CBD. Fully in touch. Okay, a person who sits in an air-conditioned office 8 hours a day and never steps on the street doesn't have street cred. I have street cred. Some of you have street cred. And because I have street cred, when I hear that sound, I recognize it for what it is. I know what it means. It means chaos, bedlam, buffoonery, ichongo, ichimfulunganya, all types of craziness. So the moment I heard that sound, I said to my wife, I said, "I'm not going to that funeral." She said, "Why?" She said, "Because I recognize the sound." And had I gone to the stadium, all it would have taken is just a little handful of maybe 3 or 4 or 5 guys who were drunk high on PCP, methamphetamines, all types of drugs, you know, bootleg marijuana, everything. All it would have taken is just 3 or 4 guys to say, "Ichocha isecho, yochi father to akumfa sana yo, sakuno, na filo wala na pali dandewe, to ali umfa to e ponta, ule ponta sana pa social media, to akumfa sana yochi father." When they speak like that, and they are in a gang, they're in a group, honey, it's all bets are off. Okay. Now, for me, I know I was concerned. I was concerned for me, but I was concerned more especially for them. Because some of them have no idea. I mean, these kids these days, they don't know the environment I grew up in. They don't know that there was a time in my life that I used to take martial arts. I did. And they have no idea how lethal I can be in a situation. If I'm pushed in a corner, I am like a rabid wildcat that just wants to be released. And for me, I really do it for their safety. I stay away for their safety because, you know, whenever you defend yourself, I remember one of the first rules that we had when I used to take karate, and I was quite good at it. My Sensei Noble, who passed away not too long ago, one of the greatest senseis I've ever trained under, Sensei Noble said to me, "Never use karate to agitate and to aggravate. Only use it to defend yourself." And so I knew, and this is something that was seared in our heads as students of this dojo. You know, we were members of an elite dojo at the sorry. Sorry. We were members of an elite dojo. Sorry. This is live TV. I'm trying to keep a straight face here, okay? And that was one of the rules. Is always use karate to defend yourself. So anyway, so the truth is, those kids are lucky that I didn't go to the stadium, because it would have been bedlam. I mean, I was trained in the cord of blood technique. You know, the cord of blood technique is, there are 2 hits. I hit them, they hit the ground. And then a cord of blood comes out. And then it turns into a police case, and then it's a crime scene. Before you know it, they're taking me off. Not only was he accused of slashing tires, now he's done killed a couple of kids, which we don't ever want that. Anyway, so guys, here it is. I wanted to share with you what trotting is. Why Celeb was arrested for trotting. Now, I asked this question on my Facebook page. I said, well, it wasn't a question. I said, what is trotting? Yeah, it was a question. What is trotting? And then I was so amused. Somebody said, trotting is when you're preparing trotters. Only in Zambia. That is a Zambian response. You gotta love my Zambian people. Well, trotting, why Celeb was arrested for trotting yesterday. And what that means, trotting is like mini marching. You know, it's like it's in between running and walking is what it is. You're trotting. Now, when a group of young juveniles get together and they assemble and they gather in a group of maybe 200 or 300 kids, and they're running down the street. And usually when they do this, they're chanting. It's either a political chant or, like in yesterday's case, Dandy Crazy's funeral. So they felt that they were offering solidarity. In their minds, they were fully convinced, Kuti, we're doing the right thing, we're here for our brother, we're offering solidarity. But the truth is, what they were doing was not only were they disturbing the peace, they were threatening the public, because that's what goes with, especially within the Zambian context. Anytime, because in Zambia, it's very easy. Just, half of those kids didn't even know where they were going. You know, because in Zambia, everything is, so they just start trotting and running. And then this is the thing that the police don't like. Oftentimes, especially when it comes to road management, when they're trotting on the road, what usually happens is that this group of juvenile, this group of vagrants, this group of imbeciles is what they are, really. I mean, if you really want to get down to it. What they do is that they now start telling people, motorists, you and I, iwe fuma murodi taure mona iwe taure mona tutulaisa wali pofka iwe chifumye chima takamu musewe fina tukwate fya kuchita iwe chi driver iwe fuma murodi iwe ziwana tutuna boss pano. Because you see, in his own mind, especially whoever is leading the charge, in this case, I would imagine it was celeb. Whoever the hell that is. Why celeb? Because he was the one leading that group. His little minions referred to him as boss. Is the audio okay? Are we good? Please tell me. Some guy just put audio. Bo, is my audio fine? I don't like that when that happens, because they sort of interrupt your train of thought and all that. We can't hear you, sir. Can you not? It's okay. It's okay. Yeah, sometimes people, I mean, there are times the transmission's not good, but I think that sometimes people just do that to throw you off, and they try to mess around with you, and you know, and that's the reason you need people on here that are interested in what you're saying, so that they can tell you what's going on. Because if you don't, these people will mislead you and all that. So anyway, so the police saw what celeb was doing, and the police said, no, we can't have that. Not only are you threatening the public, you're disturbing the peace. So they grabbed him and a couple of other people, and they did the right thing. And for that, I want to say to the police, thank you. Thank you, police. And this is the reason. You remember, I have to make reference to this because it's tethered. I want to dovetail it, okay, to what we're discussing. You remember when Edgar Lungu was at the High Court and he was given an hour to kill. Remember that? Tell me in the comments. He was given an hour to kill. And so he decided, from the High Court, he decided to walk from the High Court to Intercontinental Hotel. Now, Intercontinental Hotel, for all intent and purposes, is only about a 5-minute, 4-minute walk, depending on how briskly you walk. But the police advised Walungu and said, no, Mr. Former President, you can't walk from here to Intercontinental. And there's some of you that misunderstood the police's position. Some of you said, no, but why? I mean, Emmanuel Mwamba famously said in that clip, the man wants to walk. How are you going to determine his mode of transport? If he wants to walk, let him walk. Emmanuel Mwamba. The police knew what that meant. because you know, this is the reason you and I are not law enforcement. The police know. They know that if Balungu walked from the High Court to Intas, by Emmanuel Mwamba, by Given Lubinda, and that Nakachinda would have called the boys from Kwakalingalinga. Baiche, Twala Shindika ba former and sixth president. Lete Nyama Basai 20. Emulete Baiche. Each bus should be full. Mufi parking up Palonge Kaziapa. Twala Shindika Balungu. Within 5 minutes, there would have been 50 buses of PF youth escorting Walungu from the High Court to Intercontinental. And that 5-minute walk would have been turned into a road show. They would have been trotting. Lungu, Lungu, Lungu. Iwe, choka muradi iwe, taone muna tutuna wakateka pano. Siwona iwe tutuna boss pano iwe. Driving ya msangu shani twala chitoba chimotoka iwe. Twa kumona sana iwe. Ayo ma setting twala kuchita diriksi twala kudiringa. Choka muradi iwe. Lungu, lungu, lungu. It would have been bedlam. Trotting. Trotting yo. The police knew. My goodness. Yeah, that's on road show. Now, imagine in that environment, because, you know, average, you'd probably have about maybe 500 or 600 youth. Okay? They escort Walungu. They get to Intercontinental Hotel. How many guards does Intercontinental Hotel have? How many guards? Let's say 30. Okay? 30 guards. Maybe 10. 20 guards. If Makada's fiaisa. You think Intercontinental Security has the capacity to handle 500 PF cadres? Where on earth, as we say in Zambia, where on earth have you seen that? 30 armed secure against 500 Chibodia, Kalingalinga, Kanyama, Banda Masauko, Roma Shungu cadres? Imwe choka munjira iwe fuma munjira iwe chigadi otale moneti na tuisa tule shinduka bakatwala kudiringa iwe choka munjira iwe lungu 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 Filief makada singa fiari ingira mwamu Intercontinental mudia kafiari pena kafiari pena mudia mu breakfast lounge mudia mu breakfast chicken mudia Ngafyari sampa fye kuya. Ama buns, ama omelets, ngabali fisenda fye makade. Kawema tina tisa boss iwe. Wira nga iwe pele ko coffee jo chichinwe. That is the reality of it. And you are naive if you think that that's not the issue on the ground. That is the way it is. And it would have been like that. So for those of you who are critical of the police's position of making sure that Balungu and his cohorts, in conjunction with Emmanuel Mwamba, the likes of Given Ubinda, and the likes of that Nakachinda, Napali bomuntu nkalifyo mutima pano chalo nika Nakachinda kale. I tell you what, everything in me just wants to stuff him under a bus somewhere. Anyway, so it was wise for the police to stop them. Okay. All right. I thought I'd share that with you. Thanks for listening, guys. Have a great day. Bye.